Hi everyone, my name is Luke, and in today's video, as you can already see by the title, I'm going to be talking about something that could be quite controversial, which is filler. I know that this is a topic that divides a lot of people's opinion, but I want to say straight off the bat that this video is not about me promoting it, but then at the same time it's not about me slagging it off or showing it in a negative light. It's just my own personal experience, so stick around and let's get into this video. I got my first jaw filler treatment back in September 2018, which is just over a year now. And I was going through a phase where I dated like the wrong kind of guys, my self-esteem was pretty low. And I kept going on Instagram and I kept seeing these guys with this really sharp, strong, sleek jawline, and I kept thinking, why don't I have something like that? Like, I want to have that because I think it's sexy. And I know that some of you might be thinking, okay, a bit personal, do we really need to know about this? But I'm trying to show you like the full picture of why I got jaw filler and why I kind of wish that I hadn't gone down that route. I was on this guy's profile on Instagram and he'd tagged like this clinic and basically just had a jaw filler treatment, and I remember thinking, I can get jaw filler to look like that. So it kind of like snowballed, and then I went on the nearest clinic to me and I just booked it just straight off the bat like that. And I'm saying this because that's exactly how it happened, and I just treated it as if it was no big deal, like it was just an online clothes shop, and I just ordered next day delivery and was waiting for it the next day. When I look back now, it was the most stupid, blasé mindset that I'd ever had about something, because you should always take it seriously, which I just didn't do. And I think it's because I didn't do my research and because I saw the nearest clinic to me and I was just a bit hyped about it. I was like, booked, yeah, that'll do. I'll just go for it. But when you're altering your facial appearance, whether it's filler or it's like cosmetic surgery or anything like that, obviously filler's different because it's non-surgical, but you're still altering your facial appearance. So this is something that you should be treating a lot more seriously rather than just, like I said earlier, just like an online shop. So my treatment day arrived, and prior to going to my treatment I was told that I couldn't have anything on my face, so I had to be clean shaven, no moisturiser, no fake tan, nothing, just like completely clean. So I went and I filled out a consultation form. Everything was fine, and I had to explain to the clinician obviously what I wanted, and I explained that I wanted a really strong, sharp jawline, and this was something that could be achieved. And I had been recommended to do the 3mm rather than the 2mm because I thought that jaw filler was literally just going to be like all around, but they treat your chin separate. So it's 1mm down here, 1mm in there, and 1mm down there. So after I filled out the consultation form and I explained what I wanted, I then laid flat on my back, looking up, and there's a reason why I'm saying this, by the way. And then I felt the needle. I can't remember if there was like, oh, I remember saying to the clinician before, oh, sorry, I haven't got any numbing cream or anything like that, because I thought I had to bring my own, but I just forgot. And they said to me, oh no, don't worry about it, you don't need it. And I remember when they said that, I was like panicking a little bit because I'm such a wimp when it comes to pain, and I didn't realise, you know, if it was going to be painful or anything like that. And they explained that no, because it just, basically the needle goes in between your skin and your bone, so it's fine. So anyway, I took the word for it, and they inserted like a little cannula thing, you know, like the doctor's thing. Anyway, put the cannula there, fed the needle down, and then started pumping, and honest to God, I felt nothing. Genuinely, I felt nothing. So started pumping. Anyway, they showed me the mirror, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, boom, that's it. Got my jawline, that's what I wanted, perfect. So they did that side, and then same again down this side here, showed me the mirror, and I remember looking and I panicked and I thought, oh my God, what's happened here? So they'd done this side, and in my opinion it was perfect, but then on this side it was as if the filler had gone straight underneath my jawline, and it was like it was saggy, and actually the overall effect of it was that it was like just sagging. It was heavy and it just didn't look the same as this side, and I remember thinking, what? So anyway, I looked in the mirror, and the clinician could tell that, you know, something was going on and I wasn't really happy about it. But I didn't want to kick off or anything because I'm just not that sort of person anyway. But they explained to me that it did look different, but it could be down to the swelling and the bruising and stuff like that. So I took their word for it and I was like, okay, fine. But then they suggested, do you want me to put in a little bit more? Why I said yes, I do not know. They got me back on my back and they were going to insert some more just to try and make it as sharp as the other side to make it look more symmetrical. So they just put in a tiny little bit, I think it was just like 0.5 or something like that, because there was already 1 mil in there. So they put a tiny little bit more in, and it was it was as if it had just made it even more saggy. So anyway, I really started to panic and I'm thinking, oh my god, like what am I going to do here? And they just explained to me, you know, it's the swelling, there's nothing to worry about, you'll be okay with it. Like, they've done so many people before, and the thing is, for me, I didn't know anyone else that had jaw filler, so I didn't know if this is actually what it's supposed to be like. So I just took the word for it and I thought, okay, fine, whatever. So anyway, they did the last part of the jaw filler treatment, which is where they put the needle there, and this is the bit that I felt, because it was like someone was, I know this can sound really weird, it was like someone was trying to stuff an apple in your chin, and it was just going like rock hard, and it was like coming out like this, and that, it wasn't painful, but it was the bit that I felt the most like uncomfortable kind of thing. So anyway, they showed me the mirror right at the end of everything, and I just remember thinking, what? Because that side was fine, my chin looked good, but this side, it was like, it was sagging underneath my jawline, and I just didn't feel right with it. So anyway, I left the clinic, and that whole day I was taking so many selfies with my phone like that, from like all different angles, like trying to work out, oh my god, does this look good? Oh my god, I look awful, what's happened, blah blah blah. But like I said before, I just didn't know anyone else that had jaw filler, so I couldn't ask anyone for their advice or opinion or anything like that. So the clinician was really sweet, and they, you know, messaged me like after just to make sure that I was alright, and I explained yeah. But then the day after I went back to work and I showed my friends, and they were sort of like, because it was so different, it was such a different look, and because my jaw prior to having jaw filler was kind of, and the clinician actually explained this to me, the reason why I didn't have a strong prominent jawbone before is because I've got a slight overbite with my teeth, so my front teeth sit over my bottom teeth, whereas people with strong prominent jawlines, their teeth align perfectly. So that's why my jaw's always sat back, if that makes sense. Anyway, so I went to work and my friends were like, oh my god, what the hell. So anyway, one day turned into a week, and then a week turned into 2 weeks, and the swelling had gone down, and this side was looking even better. It was strong, but because this side was so strong and perfect, this side just looked weird. It didn't even look sharp. It just looked like I was eating something or something like that. It was just sat underneath my jaw, and I was just not happy with it. So because this side was still looking, you know, saggy and stuff like that, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to top it up. I'm not going to do anything like that. And I'll just have to put up with it for like 9 months or something. Or you can pay to get filler dissolved, but it's so expensive. It's like just paying for filler again. And I just didn't want to do that because it was already expensive in the first place. And, you know, I felt like, do you know what, I'm just going to let my face go back to its natural state, and I'm just not going to touch it ever again. But anyway, the clinician told me that the filler that was put into my jaw would last around 9 months. So I thought, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. Like before they put the filler in, so I was like, oh my god, yeah, great. 9 months, amazing, whatever. My sharp side had started to naturally break down, but the saggy side was as if it was getting saggier. So it was breaking down naturally because obviously I wasn't doing anything to it. So because it was breaking down naturally, after 2 months I thought, what? Because I had been told 9 months. So I just thought it was a bit weird, like, you know, it breaking down so early. But then at the same time I thought, okay, great, this is a positive actually, because I'm just not happy with the treatment and I'm not happy with the jaw filler and the way that it looked. So if it's speeding up quicker, fine. Now, I know I keep going on about my saggy side and my perfect side, but this was actually getting me down now, because initially I wanted that perfect jaw look. That's why I went for it, that's why I spent X amount on it. But I didn't get that look, and therefore I felt, in my opinion, that it was actually making me look worse than before I'd had it. So definitely, if you are thinking about having any form of filler, do your research, but make sure that you're in a good headspace for when you actually want to do it. Don't do it as a quick fix the way that I did, and don't treat it so blasé as if it's not a big deal and it's just like you're just popping out, doing your shopping, and then you're coming back with a brand new face, because it's not like that. And I wanted to do this video because I wanted to show that it's not always the perfect Instagram life that you see, and it's not always the perfect chiseled looks that you see, because sometimes it might actually be down to an app. You just never know. That's why now, because I've gone through that jaw filler experience, I take everything that I see on social media with a pinch of salt. And you know, some of you might be thinking, well, you should have done that before. Yeah, I should have, but I didn't. So now, because I've gone through it, and this is why I'm doing the video, this is a video that I hope that somebody had done before I'd gone for it, because when I did try to look into it, like jaw filler and stuff like that, on YouTube, blogs and stuff like that, no one was talking about it. And even now, people, like my friends say to me that I'm the only person that they know that's had jaw filler treatment. So I don't know if it's just not a thing to have, or if people are having it and they're just not talking about it. After 2 months of it breaking down naturally, as I've explained, a different clinic then contacted me, and they had spoken about fillers and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go down and I'm just going to see what happens. And I basically said that I'd had my jaw filler treatment before and that I wasn't overly happy with it. And they said, okay, we'll book you in. Did the consultation form exactly the same as the clinic when I first originally went. And straight away the clinician said to me, there's more in that side than there is in that side. And when they said that, I just thought, finally. It wasn't just me making it up in my head and me just being like over analytical and like too critical, because at the end of the day we are very critical like on ourselves, especially when it comes to our appearance, and sometimes we just don't need to be. But when they said that to me, I just thought, I'm in good hands here. So before, when I previously said that I'd laid back on my back to have the filler going down my jaw, this time was different because I was sat upright. And for me that just makes so much more sense, because when you sat up, maybe the reason why it sagged is because I was laid down, and obviously when you lay down everything, it's like gravity pulling you back anyway. So when I was sat up, they put nothing in my saggy side, but what they did do is put the needle in and they just like shoved it up to make it more snatched, like more tight, like really pulled it back. And then they put, I think it was literally like 0.5. I think it was even 0.25 there and 0.25 there. It was literally very minimal, because I just did not want to make it, I just didn't want to alter it too much. Straight after this treatment, again, you know, there was no like downtime or anything like that, like you just go about your day, because it's not like a surgical treatment or anything like that. But straight after the treatment, I just instantly felt 10 times better, because the saggy side had been pulled back and the sharp, strong side was looking sharper. So in the end, you know, I was happy with it, and it was what I had initially wanted the first time around. So, but then again, it was weird, because the clinician had told me 9 months, the same as the one before, but it broke down after about 2 months. I mean, maybe everyone's body's different, and maybe everyone's like jawline and stuff like that, like you absorb things differently. But for me, it was like 2 to 3 months. So that's the treatment, and that's my own personal experience with jaw filler. Now, looking back on it, do I regret getting it? Yeah, I do. I wish that mentally, in my headspace, I was in a better place, my self-esteem was better, and stuff like that, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. At the end of the day, I did get it. This is something that I've learned from personally, and the one thing that I will say, and I've said it throughout this video, is do your research. Just do it, and make sure that you're getting it because you genuinely want it for the right reasons rather than a quick fix. Having said all of that as well, one thing that I have noticed recently is that when celebs, reality stars, influencers, bloggers, blah blah blah, whenever they talk about the work that they've had done, whether it's filler, lips, anything, they regret it. And I think for me, it is a mental health thing, and I think maybe it's just like the Instagram trend where we're trying to achieve that perfect look that can be achieved through an app. It doesn't mean that you have to have that in real life, and really, you should be embracing who you are and the way that you actually look, rather than just trying to look like somebody else. And that's what my issue was, and that's why I went for the jaw filler, and that's why I regret it. Boom. On the flip side, if you are watching this and you are thinking, yeah, I want a jaw filler, I want this, I want that, I want filler like anywhere, fine, go for it. You know, it doesn't mean that just because I've had a bad experience that you're going to have a bad experience, but this is just something that I wanted to share to anyone out there that might be like thinking about it and stuff, and show that, like I said before, it doesn't always work out the way that you want it to work out. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if anything, I hope that you can take away a little bit of knowledge, and maybe this has helped somebody out there, and maybe it's made them question, actually, do I want a filler treatment? Who knows? I hope you've liked it, and if you have, give